All right, second attempt. This seems to be working a little bit better. I was having some trouble on the first attempt. Hopefully this one will take. Hello everybody. We got some little preview here of what I'm working on. I'll join you at the table once I get these links up. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me know. Alright, here we go. Oh, almost. I was doing bedtime, and of course that took a little bit of a wrong turn at one point, but we got the kid down. It's all good now. All right. Let's get these links in here. All right. All right. I was looking at some heavy metal. This is an old one that I got when I was, shoot, I don't know, might have been high school. There's a story in there. I'm going to flip through it in a second. There's a lot of good stuff in this issue, actually. But there's a story in there by these guys, these two brothers, it says, named Stan and Vince. And I just have had a hard time finding other work by these guys. But I really love what they did in this heavy metal. I'll crack it open in a minute here. I need to take some medicine. Back in the glory days of heavy metal. Maybe not the glory days. The glory days were probably the 70s, early 80s. This is like 90s, so mixed bag. But thanks, Stinker Buns. Yes, don't forget to like this video. We'll see how I do with getting my head in the shot. I might have to adjust my desk here. Yeah, I think at this angle, my head is going to become a problem. Bear with me, folks, while I pop this down a little bit. I had changed the angle, as I do often, because my neck will hurt sometimes. So sometimes you got to change your angle on it. Oh, see, there's my light in the way. There we go. Maybe this way I won't get my head in the shot as much. There we go. All right. Still probably gonna get my head in there eventually. All right. Yeah, check this out. So, The Imploder by Stan and Vince. This one's pretty good. Of course, you got your requisite boobies everywhere in this. Naked ladies. It is heavy metal, so if you're easily offended, turn away. But yes, there's also a Dos Pastores story in this one, which is pretty great. I love his work. The Clan Kostaka that he did was great. I think one of the first times I saw him was actually a couple Wolverine stories he did that I feel like people hate him that are like maybe mainstream people because he draws stuff different. You know, he's got a European style, but I love Das's work. But yeah, Das Pastores. Let's go to our table of contents here. Stan and Vince, and then Juan Jimenez has a story in here too, and he's, you know, one of the all-time best as well from Metabarons, also just like Das Pastores. But yeah, so here's Stan and Vince, and it's like this guy who's like a, I don't know what you'd call him. He's like an operator, and he uses a briefcase as his primary weapon, and he has this fancy suit that does a bunch of things too. But his briefcase is like, there's different ones that are bulletproof or have like stuff that comes out of them. And it's this sort of cyberpunkish sort of post, you know, it's a bad time on planet Earth when this takes place. But yeah, it's got a kind of a cool look to it. Everything's colored in a strange way. They do these weird effects here when they're inside this force field. But there's some really cool art in this, and it's kind of a fun story. There's a lot of fun kind of cyberpunkish stuff in it. And I just can't for the life of me find much else by these two guys. Yusuf, thank you for the compliments on my work. I am very excited for the Schlub as well. I cannot wait for people to get it in their hands. I will have some previews of it at Heroescon this weekend. I'll talk about that later. But yeah, like the art in this is really great. They do some digital stuff, but then a lot of it looks like it's kind of a clean line style, and they do the cool strobing action, which everybody knows I'm a fan of. Oh, that's probably a little X-rated for YouTube. This guy's a head boxer. I guess there's a whole thing called head boxing, where they fight with headbutts. Anyway, it's pretty wild, and the whole story's in here. It's divided up. There's the Juan Jimenez stuff. Let me see if we see some more of that. It's not like, the reproduction's not great on it, but there's some cool stuff in it. Jimenez is great. Anyway, pretty cool issue. I popped it out. Or here's some more of that. This has a crazy 2-page spread in here that they printed wrong. So the spread is actually across a page turn, which is insane. I don't know why they would make that mistake. Probably because they got so many ads for erotic comics in here that they got to mess the stories up. And he does some cool paneling. I don't know. If anybody knows anything about these Stan and Vince guys, let me know. If you haven't checked it out, if you see this issue of Heavy Metal anywhere, it's July 2000. It's a good one. And of course, it's got a Biz cover. Pretty nice. All right, so what do we got here? I'm working on some commissions here, which I might, if I finish this Schlub thing early, I'll switch back to that. These are just sketches I was doing, messing with some brushwork, trying to figure out layouts and stuff. So tonight, we're looking at Roger. Roger is one half of the Schlub team. He is a sort of mediocre dentist with relationship problems, and he's kind of his own worst enemy. When I was given the kind of overview of the story from Kenny and Ryan and character descriptions, some of them came really easy, some were a little bit more of a struggle. My first pass on Roger, I'll have to show it off at some point, but my first pass on Roger was a lot different. He was not quite as portly and short. He looked a little bit more realistic. I kind of just made him a kind of a dumpy, kind of quiet loser looking guy. And Stegman was like, what are you doing? Like, more, bigger, like, he's like, did you see that sketch I sent? So Ryan hadn't really done much art for this at all, but he had one drawing of like what he thought Roger's face would look like. And if you see his covers, they're similar to that. He did change it a little bit when he did the covers for the series to look a little more like mine. But it was very cartoony, which I had never seen, a lot of Ryan's work in that vein. I know he's done some cartoony stuff before. And so I was like, oh, okay, we're going with a much more sort of comedic tone here. And so on the second pass, I pretty much arrived at him similar to how he is now. I would say, if anything, I probably made him a little shorter and rounder as time has gone on, because it's just a lot more fun to draw him like that. So yeah, this is Roger, and we're going to throw some inks on this. This is a little 6x9. I'm going to offer a limited number of these. So this weekend, Charlotte, North Carolina, I'll be at Heroescon. It's my first time at Heroescon. I've heard awesome things about the show, and I'm very excited to go. And I hope that some of you folks will be out there to say hi. And at the show, I'm going to be doing a very limited number of 6x9 at show commissions, like very limited number. So if you are at the show and you want to get one, come by early and get on the list so I can get it done before the show ends, hopefully. If not, I'll obviously mail it to you. But I'm doing a limited number of those, and I'll have some original art from the Schlubb issues 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you come by my table, you'll get like a little 5-page sneak peek of the next, basically the first half of the, more than 2/3 of the Schlubb story. Obviously, I'm not, they're not lettered, and it's not. I've only got like 5-page sections from the issue, so there will be a lot of mystery still of what's going on. But anyway, I'll be at Heroes, and I'm really stoked to be there. Hey, Robert. I don't think I'll be at San Diego this year. I really would like to go do it. I've never actually tabled at San Diego. I've only ever attended, and I haven't even attended for maybe, at least 10 years, I think, almost. It's been a long time since I've been. The last time I was there was 2008, I guess. So, not 10 years, but... over 10 years. No, I guess I would have gone in 2009 as well. So, around then. But I've never tabled at it. I really would like to. I did have a guy offer me a spot last year, but I couldn't do it just with everything going on in my life at the time, with my kid and everything. And I'm hoping maybe next year or the year after an opportunity will come along where I can table at it again, because it is kind of hard to get a table unless you're kind of legacy, and so the spots, when they open up, they go to people on waiting lists, which I'm not on. So, but I'm sure I'll get there someday. I would really like to, because I'm sure it's just as crazy as I remember it, probably crazier than it was, 10, 15 years ago. And when I went, it felt insane. Like, at that point, it already just felt like such a just impossible show to actually see everything. But I always had a good time. Yeah, one day I'll be there. I don't have any West Coast shows planned right now. I have done Emerald City in the past and really enjoyed it. And I really like Seattle. My brother lives up that direction, so I usually get to see him when I go. So I'm hoping to do that one again. And I do have a lot of connections in LA, so I do need to find a good LA show. Does anybody have one they like in LA? I've heard WonderCon's all right. I think that's in LA. I've heard a few are around. When I lived in LA, there was like no good shows there, so I hope it's different now. And now I'm just knocking in some shapes here. I've been having like a serious creative block the last week. Ever since Cake ended, it's been really hard to find my flow again. Because leading up to Cake, I was just so busy I wasn't able to be at the table as much as I normally am. And sometimes you just feel like you lose your mojo. So drawing your own character like this is a way to get a little bit of it back. Because I've had to do some other work lately, commission stuff for Heroes actually. So. But anyway, those are my woes. It's been like pulling teeth, pun intended. It's been like pulling teeth lately, getting work to come out this week. You know, it just happens though. You gotta sort of, it sucks, and there's not really always a way out of it. I just try to acknowledge it. Like, yes, I'm going through a slump. You know, like just acknowledge it. And give yourself a little bit of grace, and just try to work a little bit if you can on whatever parts you can work on, or take a break and try to look at things that inspire me is another thing I'll do. This week I've been just trying to push through it, and it's limited success. But hey, that's the ups and downs of it. Can't complain about it, you know. It's what I wanted. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Oh. I've also been penciling a lot this last couple of weeks when I have been at the table. Penciling parts of issue 5 of the Schlub, actually. And I just haven't had the release of inking this week. It's like my favorite thing, so I was excited to get this going for everybody tonight. Roger Dalton, he's a dentist. He has a father who's a dentist and a brother who's a dentist. So there's definitely a bit of a strange dynamic in the family, some drama that leads to a lot of great scenes in the book. I like when fiction does focus on characters' relationships with their families, because I feel like it's something that maybe isn't always a factor, especially in superhero comics. You know, like their extended, you know, their family, not necessarily if they have a wife or a kid or something, but if they have like in-laws and you know, or parents that are controlling and stuff, because I think everyone can relate to that, and on some level we all have some sort of dynamic with our family, and that carries over into other parts of our life. So I think it's one of the cooler aspects of the book, actually, is this sort of it feels like it's a lot about, like, I mean, I'm not, I don't think I'm giving too much away, but there's a lot of stuff about just family and the expectations family have. Fan Expo Chicago. You know, I've never done that show. I guess I'd be open to doing it. I like local shows, but I've never done that one. I will have to look into it, because local shows are always fun because it's a little easier to get there and get set up and everything. But I've not done Fan Expo. If it's a good show, maybe I'll check it out, if people can vouch for it or not. How's it going there, Ictus? Yeah, man. Here, you got some schlub going right here for you. Already spoiling you. And Roger is a lot of fun to draw. It kind of lets me have a little fun being a little more exaggerated and cartoony while still keeping him emotive and grounded in some sort of reality of the book. And that's been a really fun balance to try to find. And you know, I'm trying to carry it over into the other characters a little bit too, so that things can feel, I don't know, just dive in a little more to my cartoony impulses. Or I think I used to kind of turn those down a lot of the time, and kind of just trying to let it be a little more free now. And enjoy sort of like exaggeration and expressions and abstraction is another thing I'm like really wanting to think about a little bit more. All right, there we go. Some nice solid shapes. Well, I'm not sure what this will look like, but I kind of want to just play with this here. See what happens. Yeah, that'll work. We'll see when I erase it. It's a real test. Yeah, sometimes if I'm having a hard time on a page or a series of pages, if I can find the panels with Roger in them and draw them, that kind of helps me snap out of my funk, because you know, I've cartooned him a little bit more than I normally do, so there's a little bit of comfort in drawing him. I'm not like looking for him all the time, and that's always the goal, I think, if you're on a series, is to kind of have the characters internalized enough that you're not thinking about how they look as much when you're drawing them, if that makes any sense. And it's hard to get to that point, you know, in the first, you know, in the first issue especially, but even I think through the first 3 or 4, and then you start to get the hang of people and how you want to draw them, and then they're kind of in there forever after that, to some degree, you know. Like, I think if you've drawn Spider-Man or Peter Parker or Mary Jane or whatever, you know, for the classic examples, if you've drawn them for as long as like a Romita has, I mean, you're not thinking about what they look like anymore, really. You're just drawing them, you know. And that's where I try to get. Hey Ryan Lee, what's up, my bro? You ready to hang out, man? We're gonna go to, that's my Heroescon roommate, Ryan Lee, Maestro. Roomies up at Heroes. Should be a good time. I'm hoping that I get to talk to friends, new and old, and maybe see some cool art. And, you know, hopefully people will buy some stuff from me too. You know, hopefully there's some room in their pocketbooks for me. It's gonna be a blast, dude. It's gonna be hot. Especially, like, so this week in Chicago, it's been like cold. It's like last 3 days was like 60 degrees, you know, and like windy. It was, and now I'm gonna be in Charlotte. It's gonna be like 90. But that's cool. I'll be in the convention hall most of the time, honestly, so it's probably all right. Alright, I think we're going to erase and then lock in some of these shapes here. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this first. There you go. A little bit more, I guess. Let's do some of that. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Water break. I should have refilled my water. I'm going to run out. I ran in here after my kid went down. Jeez. Kids, you know. BMC Comics, hello. Thank you. Glad you're digging it. I'll try not to flub it here. I'll try not to flub the schlub here. I just smeared some ink, but if you look at just about anything I've drawn, you're going to see that I've erased too soon after inking, and there's smudges all over the place. I'm just too pumped to get these erasers going, you know? Can't wait for it to dry. Alright. I've been selling all these 6x9s, or putting them up for sale. Some of them have sold, some of them are not. So if you go to my website, and if you're interested, any of the ones I've done on the live streams, I put them up there for sale. And I will have some of these that haven't sold at Heroes with me as examples. How long does it take to dry? Yeah, it just depends on what kind of ink you're using, how thick you put it down, what it's like outside that day. You know, like if it's moist outside or not. Yeah, so it varies. I just usually go too quick. Actually, the ink that comes in these Pentel pocket brushes is pretty wet, and it does take quite a it does take a minute to dry. That is one of the downsides to these pens. And there's some variation even depending on how you buy them, is what I've sort of seen. Not in every case, but there is sometimes some variations, so you never know. You can usually tell though by looking at it. Like when I'm doing this, I'm always like, I know that it's not dry. I just go ahead and do it anyway. Such a stinker. So the convention last week would have been cake, and cake was awesome. It was awesome. I was exhausted because I was an organizer for the show, and man, oh man, it's a lot of work to put on a show. And we're all volunteers, you know, we're not getting paid to be there, and it's a lot, but the show turned out great. I heard everyone had really good sales and just a fantastic time. I think people missed the show. It had been a long time since we had done one, and I think that contributed to some of the good success and good sales. So yeah, really happy with it. I was not at my table very much, so my particular experience was different than probably other people's, but it wasn't bad. It was just that I was preoccupied with organizational things. So we did some cool panels. I was just talking to Ed Witt, who moderated a panel with Matt Allison, and he said that went really well. Matt talked about creating a healthy creative space for making art, which was, I thought, a really cool topic. And I heard that the panel was really good and people seemed to get a lot out of it. I did a conversation with my friend and somebody I'm really excited about their work, MS Harkness, and that went really well. We talked about her process and her new book, Time Under Tension, coming from Fantagraphics, and just had a good chat about making comics, good Q&As. So cake was amazing. Really excited to see where we go from here. Hopefully next year will be just as successful and get some cool guests going, and looking forward to it. But right now I don't want to think about cake anymore because I've been thinking about cake with every waking spare moment for the last 3, 4, 5 months, or 3 years technically. So I've been trying to give myself a little break from that and just focus on my stuff for a little bit. But it was great. It was a great show. I don't know if that's reading correctly, but yeah, so now I'm sort of like just really excited to be focused on just the Schlub coming out and promoting it. If any of you guys have any podcasts you think that would like to have a cool guest on like me to talk about my work and what it's like and how this has been a lifelong journey for me, shout out to them. I would love to get on some shows and talk about the Schlub and just like what it's like, what things are like, and how life as an artist is, and how exciting it is to work in comics, and how frustrating it can be too. All those good things. Yeah, I'm prepping for Heroes, trying to figure out what I can bring. I haven't done a travel show in a while, so I might not have as much as I normally have, just because I don't know. Still trying to figure out what my ratio needs to be, mostly. But I will definitely have a lot of my new minis. I will have my Eris comic. I will have my Horrortober collection. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring my Doom posters. I haven't found a good way to pack them up yet. So not sure if I'll have those or not. Lots of original art. I'll have a lot of original art. But yeah, come on by, say hi. Yeah, we'll see if I'm on my table at the next cake. We'll see. If I'm organizing, it's kind of hard. I was trying to get my buddy to run my table for me, but she wasn't into it, and that's fine. And I don't trust a lot of people enough to do that, so I kind of just asked my buddy Landis to watch it for me when I was gone, because he was next to me, and he always does that for me. He's my pal. But you're gonna sell better if you're at your table. That's just that's reality right there. And I think I said this in my last live stream, but if any of you guys, have a local show that does indie comics, make sure you go to it, support it, get involved, help plan it if you can. Those shows are really vital. It really gives people early in their careers, or people that are making stuff that's not very mainstream, it gives them a place to have a voice and express themselves, and then get more experience making comics, so they can potentially one day be an awesome creator that we all love, that has opportunities. So get involved at those small local shows as much as you can, because a lot of them are volunteer run, and so if people don't help out, they don't stick around. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll have the Doom Inktober's with me at Heroes. The new prints, the brand new prints I just got from Print Ninja that look great. And a new version of Wheat Priests. The first time I've had this version, I ended up going with just my story in this print, but I added in some extra stuff that wasn't in the last version. So any Wheat Priest fans out there, if they want to be a completionist, they're going to want to buy this version too. I went ahead and took out some of the stuff by the other artists. Not that I didn't want it in there. I just was like, well, I'm not really giving them a cut anymore. Like, I've had this going a long time. And so my buddy JB and my friend Aaron Pittman also had some art in there. Pittman did a whole bunch of pages, which were awesome. So if you have... The other thing is I kind of wanted those original versions to be as scarce as they are, because... they were printed in a special way too that I don't know that I'll be able to redo anytime soon. So I figured, why not give a new version to the world and see if we can make it a new special one. So yeah, Wheat Priest, man, that's my book. I like drawing Roger's hair. It's like my favorite part of him to draw. The little hair on top. Mustache is pretty fun too. I don't know if I've had a lot of characters with mustaches in my own books. Maybe beards. So it's kind of fun. Alright, this is shaping up, shaping up. And I might have to put some zips on this. What else do I need to do with the brush here? Maybe some, just some. Maybe I can do it with this. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, zip tones, zips I call them sometimes, like screen tones, like manga style screen tones. I guess zipatone is probably not exactly the same thing as screen tone, but at some point in my past, the two things got conflated, and I still use that terminology, and I just got used to saying zips sometimes. Zips and tones, zips and tones. That's usually how I describe them, zips and tones. Yeah, Tom Selleck for sure, man. Gotta love Magnum. Fun fact, Tom Selleck, one of his big roles that I knew him from growing up was The Sackets, a Western series written by Louis L'Amour. And that same series about the Sackets is where I and my younger brother Logan got our names. So I'm Tyrell, and there's a Tyrell Sackett in the Sackett family. And my brother's Logan, there's a Logan Sackett in the Sackett family. So that's my connection to the Sackets. And Tom Selleck, I guess. I mean, it's not a connection, but. And yeah, my brother is a huge Wolverine fan. You know, having the name Logan. And the other funny thing is his middle name is James. And that turned out to be Wolverine's name if you go by the Origin comic that they did, which I don't tend to love, but thought that was pretty interesting. My brother was pretty keen on that. He liked it. All right. Another water break, and then we'll clean this up a bit. Maybe throw some tones on there. Yeah, all the Sackets have awesome names. There was Orin, Tell, Logan, Tyrell. Tyrell was a gunfighter in the book and in the movie. Quick draw guy. I thought that was kind of fun and fitting too. But yeah, my parents like westerns. I have another brother named Shane. After the film and the book Shane, which is a great flick. Actually, Jubal is a Sackett name, and I used that in Eris. One of the characters is named Jubal. The main character is named Jubal. I think Jubal's a cool name. My wife disagrees when I suggested it for a baby name. She's like, no. kind of enjoying being a little looser on these 6x9s and not feeling the need to completely define everything as clearly as I normally do. Maybe some of that'll translate into the, let's give him some sweat here. Maybe some of that'll translate into the actual comic. And I'll loosen up there too, I don't know. Not too much. I know people tend to like the tight stuff in mainstream books, and that can be really fun. And I do enjoy that as well. But I think I'm leaning a little more loose lately. I'm happy with this so far. Alright. Quigley Down Under. Yeah, man. Alan Rickman, what a great villain in that one. I mean, he's great in every movie, but Quigley Down Under is so underrated. The score is Basil Palladores, who's awesome. He did like RoboCop and Conan. Quigley's got a great score. And yeah, that's like one of my dad's favorite movies. So Quigley Down Under. Alright, let me go get some tones. Actually, I've got some samples in here. Do they fit? They sent me samples last time. Not big enough. Yeah, I got a little sample pack with my last order. If you order a bunch of screen tones, they'll send you this little... I didn't even look what's in here yet. Let's see. It's an unboxing, guys. Oh my god. There we go. There we go. Alright, alright. These are nothing I haven't seen before. Alright, let me go get it. And the other drawer. Well, I don't think that's what I want. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. I still am getting over just like not thinking too hard about how much these sheets cost. Because I mean, it's not exorbitant, but it's just like, it's like $4, $3 or $4, man. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I love the whistle. I'm one of those annoying people. Who doesn't love a good whistle? Everybody doesn't love a good whistle. All right, Roger. Should I? Yeah, maybe. What do I want to do here? Which feels heavier, black on top or black on bottom? You know what, let's just cut it. No, let's do top, 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 top. because that will only work. Okay. Yeah, I buy them from the deleter site. I usually just order, a larger order so that the shipping doesn't feel as painful. Because they come from Japan, and sometimes I'll pool with other people, so we can all share the shipping costs. I think my last order was like $100, and then I got another person in for $100, and my buddy Derek. Jeez, I haven't seen Derek forever. I was hoping he would come buy cake. But yeah, it's like deleter.jp.co or something. But there's an English version of the website, so you can see what's there. And yeah, it's like $2.95 or something, or $3.95 for some of the sheets. And you saw the size there. And if you don't know the numbers you like, you can kind of get like a grab bag. I usually get a few that I know I like, and then I remember the numbers because I have them in the drawer here. And then I'll buy a few that I've never tried before and just kind of see what's good with them. Yeah, I'm liking that. Let's get this palm out of here. Oh, I'm gonna have these little pieces of zip tone stuck all over my socks for the next 3 days. It's always what happens, man. They get all over my floor. It's just I'm picking them out of my shoes. So silly. Alright. And you know what? Let's grab a couple chunks for these little chunks. Let's stick some on here. Let's do like a little. It's usually not a great idea to stick in the little pieces, but fuck it. This is for fun. Because a lot of times this doesn't really stay. There's a limit to how small you can cut these out. I found that out the first time I tried to use them. I had like every little section of the character was a different zip tone. It's ridiculous. That's cool. There we go. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Amazon, you can sometimes find stuff cheaper, but honestly, like for like some art supplies, like I mean, the zip tones, the screen tones, you kind of got to get them from Japan. That's the best way to get them. And then um, for pens and stuff, I do a lot of shopping on Jet pens. But I do still. I mean, there's times when Amazon just has a good price on something, and that's I'll get it there. But yeah, buying in bulk helps. And some pens I go through really fast. Other ones last forever. So it all depends on how often I'm going to be buying them and stuff. So the website for the zip tones is Deleter. Just if you just look for like Deleter, um, Deleter.jp or Deleter Japan screen tones, it'll be the first thing that pops up. So I want a new blade here, and I can't remember where my good blades are. I have a blade problem. It's like I don't know where I don't know what I'm saying right now. These are like little scoops and stuff. I don't know what this is. But I've had good service from the Deleter site. I mean, it's not like weird or anything to buying from them. I mean, it feels a little weird at first because it is like a you're like buying stuff from Japan, and the website just looks different than like what you're probably used to shopping in a on American websites or whatever. So I feel like this one's a dud too. What's the deal here? This one feels like a dud too. Okay, let's try the box. Part of it is that I've had this box like this box right here of blades since college. It's like it was 100 X-Acto blades, and I kind of just got in the habit of throwing the old ones back in there, and so I finally went through it and got rid of what looked bad. But once you have 100 X-Acto blades, and all you use them for is like normal comic book stuff, you're gonna not need to buy X-Acto blades for a while. So I was oh yeah, that's the stuff. I was just thinking like, okay, when these ones are gone, this will be the first time I've ever bought X-Acto blades as an adult. And those ones I got at a place called Creative Reuse Warehouse. It just had old junk from like offices and people's houses and stuff. And so I got them there for like $1. I got 100 of these blades, and I've had them ever since. I got paper that I bought there too. I got like 5 reams of paper for $1 there, and they were like, it was because it was slightly discolored on one side, so I just started using it as like scrap sketch paper, and I still have paper from that pile. I mean, if you don't have to buy it, you got it. Like, why buy it? All right, sorry, probably scooch this up a little bit for everybody. Raja. What a loser. Oh yeah, I'm kind of liking that. We might have to do a little bit of that action for a minute here. It sure is fun stuff, though. This deleter's zip tone. It's like one of those tools that when you start using it, it still has like a magic feel somehow. It's like when you get a good pen or the right paper, and everything's just like butter, you know, or things just feel complete. And there's something about these screen tones that do that. For me, at least. I don't know if it's like that for everybody, but something about it just is like BAM! Alright. This is almost there. We're going to leave it pretty loose, guys. Right? Trust me? Trust me. Alright. Drop the tones, of course. I just want to hit a couple spots with whiteout. Well, yeah, I'm going to start trying some on my pages. I just haven't found the right opportunity yet. Maybe in this 5th issue I'll have a couple shots that might benefit from it. Alright. Okay, first let's do something about this tie. That's not going to be what it is, though. Do a 2. I was just like, I'm always worried about the reproduction, but I've been seeing more and more people use them again, so. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, my other new toy, Posca pens. Can't remember who told me about these first. It might have been Stegman, might have been Dan, I can't remember. And I was into these right away. And I guess I didn't realize that my whole context of knowing these before, I didn't realize it was the same pen, was the graffiti stuff that I was doing and hanging out with. Was like, maybe it's just me, like my brain didn't work right, but it is a great pen for writing on all surfaces. That's about it. That's about it. Yeah, there's Roger. There's Roger. He's a little corny. He's got a little bit of an attitude. But now the weight of the world is on his shoulders. So, is he going to pull it off? Is Roger going to step up? we go. Oh. Also, the Schlub is now available for pre-order if you haven't ordered it already. I don't have the diamond code right here. If I was fancier, I would have it like scrolling on the bottom of the screen or something. But if you go to your local comic shop, you tell them you want the Schlub from Image Comics, they will be able to find it for you. If you go to the Image Comics website, it will link you to the series, and you can find the order number there. So please go put your orders in. Go ahead and just put it on your pull list so you got the other issues coming too. Because I guarantee you, you're going to want to read them. If you like the first one, even if you don't love the first one, you're going to love the first one. You're going to want to see the rest of the series. It's really been a special experience to work on, and I think it will be a special one for people to read too. All right. Well, folks, I appreciate everybody for joining in for another live stream. I'm hoping I'll be able to do one next week. I will be just a day back from Heroes, so it will all depend on my mental and physical state. But hoping that I can come back next Tuesday and give everybody a report on how the show went. If you guys can all send some positive vibes my way for safe travels for me and all the other comic folks that'll be at the show, and a safe event for everybody, that would be really awesome and appreciated. So with that, I'm going to stop working on this before I ruin it. And I will see all you guys. Oh, hey, thank you, Stinker Buns, for putting that code in there. But yes, thank you, everybody, for joining in. If I see you at Charlotte, awesome. If not, I'll see you back here on Tuesday.